Domestic silverware is brilliant. A day out at Wembley is brilliant. It's historic. These things matter. These things count. And I would love for Chelsea to win it on Sunday against Liverpool. I will be heartbroken if we don't. But I don't really understand people who don't fancy it. Chelsea are going head-to-head with Liverpool to win the League Cup at Wembley. This is what it's about. Winning silverware, planting your flag, making history. And over the years, we've had some fantastic days out with the League Cup. Beating Tottenham in 2015, John Terry scoring, that was brilliant. We beat Liverpool in this competition, actually, in Cardiff. I remember Steven Gerrard scored an own goal. I think 𝘍𝙗𝙗 got the winner for us. There have been brilliant moments for us in this competition, and I hope Sunday will be another one, but I don't necessarily expect it to be. I think Chelsea can beat anyone on any given day. I think Chelsea have proved that over the years, that we are a match for anyone on our given day. So I do believe that we have it in us, and in a one-off game at Wembley, there is a chance that Chelsea can win. I just think that this Liverpool team are sensational, and that's what scares me. It isn't really about Chelsea, because I think Chelsea are good, and if we were playing anyone aside from Liverpool, I feel like I'd be a lot more confident. But this Liverpool team are amazing, aren't they? I think this is the best team, regardless of how many trophies they win. They could end the season with nothing. I would still say this is the best Jurgen Klopp Liverpool team that we have ever seen. They are an abundance of brilliance. When you think about their firepower, you know, Mane, Salah, it's terrifying. This, for me, is the best front two that they've ever had. Roberto Firmino, I think, is a sensational footballer. He scored a no-look header the other day, and people are really sneery about him. They're constantly telling me that it's time for him to move on and Jota's better and whatever. But Roberto Firmino is elite. He's a top player. And Roberto Firmino is actually everything I want Romelu Lukaku to be. And then when you look at the players that they have on the bench, even coming through, like I think Harvey Elliott is a glorious footballer. If Harvey Elliott was at any other club, I think he's good enough to already play as one of the front three. I just think at Liverpool, that's not really on offer at the moment. And therefore, he has to cut his cloth to fit the team he's in. But he's actually good enough. If he played for Chelsea, he'd be in our front three. The annoying thing is, for Chelsea to win this game, the player that we're relying on is a player that we know we can't rely on. The way that Chelsea win this game is Romelu Lukaku has the game of his life. But we know it's not going to happen because we know that he isn't good enough. He isn't up for it. He doesn't fancy it. He doesn't really want to be at Chelsea. He wants to play for Inter and couldn't really care less. He's a narcissist who focuses only on himself, and self-gratification is the only thing that matters. If I could beg Romelu Lukaku to play well that day, I believe we have a chance. If we are to make it work without Lukaku, or with Lukaku playing in the way that he has been recently, it has to be somebody is going to have to shine, and every other player is going to have to be a 10 out of 10. I mean, Thiago Silva, if you say one player that needs to have a brilliant game for Chelsea, I think it's probably Thiago Silva. Just the control that he exudes at the back, the way that everyone plays around him when he's there, everyone elevates their performances. With regard to our goalkeepers, because Kepa Arrizabalaga is probably going to play. Like, I wouldn't play him because I think he's not as good, but in terms of it being fair and a meritocracy, I feel like Arrizabalaga will play. But the one part of Arrizabalaга's armoury that is superior to Edouard Mendy's, like, he's nowhere near as good a goalkeeper, but the one thing that he's better than him at is saving penalties. So if it does go to penalties, we've already won 2 penalty shootouts this year. I would actually feel really confident. I'd take that now as well, by the way. I'd take a penalty shootout now, because I think with Arrizabalaga there, we are capable of winning it. I'm going to go that the game will finish 1-1 and Chelsea will win it on penalties. Of course I'm terrified. Of course I'm terrified. But I was terrified when we went to Porto to play Man City and we made light work of them.